Shalom Aleichem. Today's learning in Mishnah Yomi is Bava Batra, chapter 5, Mishnayot 4 and 5. Here's Mishnah Dala. The Kone Shnei Ilanot, Betoch de Havero. Someone buys 2 trees in his friend's field. Hareze lo kona karka. He's bought the trees, but behold, he has not bought any land rights. He does not own the land under the trees. Rabbi Meir Omer Kona Karka. Meir says if he bought 2 trees, it would include the land that's underneath those trees. Higdilu, if these trees got bigger, lo yishapeh, then the landowner, the guy who owns the field, can't go and cut off the branches. When we're dealing with the Tanakama's opinion, the tree owner didn't purchase any land, but all of the land under and around the trees is meshubad, has to make way for the trees. So even if the trees got larger, the landowner is not allowed to cut them back. Ole minageza shalo, and something that comes out of the trunk, if a new branch or growth or shoot comes out of the trunk of the tree or the branches, it belongs to the purchaser. Minasharashim, but if it grows out of the roots, shel bal karka, that belongs to the original owner of the field. So if something starts sticking out of the roots, then that would belong to the seller of the trees in this case. Imetu, if these trees died, ein lo karka, the purchaser of the trees does not have any rights to the land there at all. He can't go and plant a new tree. He only had the right to the tree on someone else's land. Kana shlosha, but if he buys 3 trees, kana karka, then what's included is the land underneath and between these trees. They're not really 3 trees anymore. Now it's a little orchard. It's considered an orchard. And the Gemara, they explain this is, if the trees are way too close together and you would normally, separate them, that's not an orchard. If the trees are too far apart, not an orchard. But right in the middle, if they're orchard distance apart, what's the appropriate distance to be planting an orchard or a row of trees? That's considered an orchard already. And therefore, the Mishnah explains, Higdilu, if these trees grew over that land area, that's their orchard, their stea ilan, yishofe. So the original landowner can cut them down, because now they're shading over the rest of his field, which the tree owner has no rights to. Whatever comes out of the trunk or the roots does belong to the guy who bought this orchard, this little mini orchard of 3 trees. They may do, and if one of these trees dies, yeshlo karka, the orchard owner can go ahead and plant a new tree there to replace the dead tree, because again, he has rights to the land underneath the trees. On to Mishnah. Hey, mocher rosh behemagasa. The butcher is selling the head of a large animal. Lo macharat raglaim. Legs are not automatically included. Macharat raglaim, he's selling you the legs. Lo macharat rosh. You don't get the head for free. Macharat kane, if he's selling the kane, this is the knei neshima in modern Ivrit. It's kane means the trachea, the windpipe. Lo macharat kavod. It doesn't include the liver. Now, why would the liver be included? Well, when someone was selling the trachea, you don't eat a trachea, but the trachea is attached to the lungs, which are attached to the heart, so they'd sell it as one chunk, the windpipe and the heart and the lungs, and that's right next to the liver, so you might have included the liver. No. Machar the kavod, he's selling the liver. Lo machar the kane. It does not include the trachea, heart, and lungs complex. Avo badaka, but what about a small animal? Now, these halachot, that everything is separate and chashuv, important enough to sell separately, is by a gasa, by an ox or a cow or something big, a bull. But what about a daka, a sheep or a goat? Machar at the rosh, machar the raglaim. Someone sells the head, then the butcher's throwing in the legs. Machar the raglaim, lo machar the rosh. But if he's selling the legs, he doesn't necessarily include the rosh. Sometimes the rosh of the animal is considered chashuv, is considered separate by itself. And machar takana, if he's selling the trachea and the attached organs, machar the kavod, it includes the liver too. They wouldn't pull the liver off; it's not so big in these small animals. Machar the kavod, if they're selling the liver, lo machar takana. They wouldn't necessarily sell the trachea, heart, and lungs, because you might buy the liver of a sheep or a goat separately. I've never had, but they tell me it's delicious, so someone might buy that separately and not necessarily want the heart and lungs also. Now, of course, these are all defaults. If the butcher has a sign up, a poster up on the door, it's the custom, the minhag of the town that all the butchers sell things together or separately, then they would follow the local minhag. This is if there's no minhag or no contract to the contrary, we would follow this Mishnah. Tizku mitzvot.